Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between the ZV-E10 and the XS10. But I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet because everything I said in my A7C versus the XS10 video still applies to this, and I'll be sure and link it right here in this video. First of all, let's kind of get this out of the way. If you're looking for a camera to sit on a tripod and just film your videos on, do any kind of live streaming, anything like that, the ZV-E10 is going to be great for that. It has unlimited record time. The picture looks good. You're always going to be in focus. For all those reasons, the ZV-E10 is going to be way better than the XS10. But if you're going to be using it for anything else, that's where things get a little bit tricky. Some of the differences between the XS10 and the ZV-E10 are the stabilization. I just cannot get any kind of stabilized footage with the ZV-E10 handheld. Like, no matter what I do, stabilized lens, active stabilization, wide, narrow, whatever I do, I just cannot get stabilized footage with it handheld. To get any kind of stabilized footage with the ZV-E10, you're going to have to use catalyst browse, or you're going to have to use a gimbal. There's just no way around that. And that's just something that personally I'm not willing to do. It just doesn't fit my shooting style. I've tried gimbals, bought them, never used them. Tried catalyst browse. It takes too long. It's too cumbersome. Catalyst browse, just using it sucks. I mean, let's just be honest. Catalyst browse is just not doable, in my opinion. If you want any, if you want to do any kind of quick video, I mean, it's just an extra step. They take forever. Sometimes the thing crashes, and I mean, it's just not. It's just, I just wouldn't recommend it unless you absolutely had to have the most perfect stable footage. If you take a look at my top of the rock video, I'll link it here. This is something I would love to have the ZV-E10 with me that day. And the total footage, I've shot hours, probably hours of footage, hours and hours, I would say. At least 2 hours of footage that day at the top of the rock. All of it handheld. And if I'd had to run all that through catalyst browse, it'd have taken, I mean, hours to process. So I'm just not willing to do that. Like, I think you should be able to get decently watchable footage just handheld. Throw the XS10 in there. While some of the lenses, like the 16 to 80, they're not very good. They're not very good at all when you're trying to stabilize footage. They're terrible. But you try something like the 16 2.8, and you're going to be able to get some decently stabilized footage with the 16 2.8. Even the 16 to 80, you know, if you're sitting there trying to get a steady shot, it'll look good. Or slow pan, it'll look pretty good. It'll be stabilized. If just when you're trying to walk and film stuff, it looks bad. But if you're trying to go handheld with the ZV-E10, it's all going to look bad. I don't know if it's just the stabilization, you know, there's no IBIS in the camera. Whatever it is, the active stabilization with the rolling shutter, or the rolling shutters causing all the little micro jitters and stuff. Any kind of footage that I try to get with the ZV-E10 handheld, it looks like I'm standing on a trampoline. It's just shaking all over the place. It doesn't look good. It's almost unwatchable. You know, that's definitely chalk one up to the XS10. Now, as far as autofocus goes, now there is no doubt that the Sony is going to have way better autofocus. I mean, you know, it'll track your eye no matter what. You're not taking photos. You can track your people's eyes, and you can take 200 photos. You might only get 1 or 2 out of focus. When you're doing videos, everything you want. I mean, it has tracking in video. It'll track your eye. Everything you want will be in focus, even in video. The Fuji's not so much, but it's not that bad either. I mean, as long as you keep that little, if you just say, hey, I'm not using eye face auto detect and just use the center box in the Fuji, you're gonna get some pretty decent results. Of course, I wish the tracking eye face auto detect in the Fuji X-S10 was as good as the Sony, but it's not. But in my opinion, it's just not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, you can get away with it. And let's talk about the photo quality just a little bit. Man, the Sony, it takes great pictures. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can take great pictures with the Sony. You can get good results with the Sony. They'll all look good. You know, like the other day I was out taking pictures with that 85 equivalent Sigma lens. Man, the pictures look so good. But they all kind of look the same, if you know what I mean. They start to just all the JPEGs, and they all start to just kind of run into each other. And after a while, you realize that you're going to have to edit all your photos just to give them that extra little pizzazz that you may want while you're using a Sony camera. If you take that XS10 and you can use whatever film simulation you want, it just gives your photos the extra little edge to them in JPEG. You don't have to do any editing. You don't have to put it in your editing software, do all this and that. It's just so much easier to get great looking photos out of the Fuji than it is the Sony, because you know you can get great lenses for this Fuji as well. You can get equally blurred out background, all this and that. But if you just want a quick, easy experience, make your photos stand out just a little bit, using those film simulations is the way to go. And not only that, you can kind of customize them in camera. Like you can customize grain effect, blue effect, chrome effect, you know, just a little bit of customization. So, you know, you can just do it exactly how you want it and make your pictures stand out the way you want them to. And you can use what film simulation you like for, you know, whatever situation. So for me, because I like to use my cameras in a variety of different places and not just sitting on a tripod, I'm definitely taking the XS10 over the ZV-E10 any day of the week and twice on Sunday. To me, it's just the overall better camera. It's a better value, even being $200 or $300 more expensive than the ZV-E10. To me, it's just a better overall camera. That's why I'm choosing it over the ZV-E10. As far as the ZV-E10 in total, you get a tripod, you get your camera, you get your 16mm Sigma lens. It's going to look great. It'll record forever. I mean, I haven't had any overheating issues. It's great for that. It's great. But if you're going to be taking it off the tripod, I just can't recommend it. I just can't recommend it if you're going to be taking it off a tripod. To me, the ZV-1 makes much more sense than the ZV-E10. For whatever reason, you can get handheld stable footage with the ZV-1. The rolling shutter is reduced. You can use active stabilization. For whatever reason, if you use a ZV-1, you just want some handheld footage, where you're just kind of walking along there. You can get some decent looking footage with the ZV-1 without having to use a gimbal or catalyst browse. You know, I'm going for that. You can also get basically the same picture. So now you're going to be losing a little bit of low light capabilities with the ZV-1. You're not going to be able to change lenses with the ZV-1. Things like that. But to me, that's what I'm going for over the ZV-E10. So anyway, that's just kind of a quick wrap up between the two cameras. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Man, let me tell you what. If you're trying to decide between these two cameras, you need to really, really try to get the XS10 camera in your hands for at least a test. To me, it's just a really, really special camera.